guys, and welcome to my long-awaited theory video on Blackbeard. Why I'm wearing black, I love myself a dark eyeshadow, it's all very good. Actually, fun fact, this video that I'm filming today was actually something that I not only planned in the beginning of my video, or my channel, this is actually my planned videos thing. As you can see, it's like right in the beginning. But I also filmed this video twice, once in April and once in May, and I hated both those videos so much because I couldn't speak and it didn't make any sense, so I deleted them. But hopefully this one will go just a little bit better than the ones that I made 4 months back. Or whatever. 5 months? 6 months? A long time back. So hopefully this will go better. Either way, this is a Blackbeard theory. I actually also have another video coming up, hopefully tomorrow, that is also about Blackbeard but more of a discussion. In the beginning I wanted to make this one video, but I know that half an hour material video thing will scare people away as they did with my Sanchi video, because who can sit through half an hour? So I'm gonna split those into two, so this will be the discussion part and the other will be a theory part. Or this will be a theory, the other will be a discussion. They'll kind of connected, but you can watch them separately, so yeah, you can click them if you feel like, I don't know. Either way, let's get into it. Basically, this theory is about why I think Blackbeard is able to have multiple devil fruits. So why he has 2 now, and why I think he'll eventually have 3. I'm just gonna first off start with why I don't think that the initial theories that I've heard don't really make any sense, or why I don't think that they should be the reason. I think the most common known theory about Blackbeard being able to have multiple devil fruits is that he has some kind of like special lineage or whatever, like it's something about him as a person that allows him to have 2 devil fruits. And I have 2 problems with that. Actually, I have 3. The first off, why would he, like, how would he know that he is a person who could, like, have multiple devil fruits? Did he just, like, take the chance and then eat a second one is what, like, maybe I'll explode, but I don't fucking know. I mean, okay, let's say he did find out. What lineage would he come from? I feel like, because if he comes from a lineage or some kind of family or whatever that allows him to have multiple devil fruits, why haven't we not heard of more people? If they exist out there, what's stopping other people from having multiple devil fruits, and wouldn't that be relatively dangerous? Like, Blackbeard is one of, like, the final bosses of, like, the series. And some people like myself, I believe that Akainu would be like the final actual villain, but Blackbeard will be the last pirate in my opinion. And I mean, you can discuss why Blackbeard could be the last or Akainu could be. That's not the point. Either way, if it's a special lineage, why are there not more people? Then you could argue that it's the will of D because he's actually called Marshal D Teach. Then what the hell is stopping like people from like Luffy and Law and what other Ds are still alive? I don't know. But what is stopping them from eating multiple devil fruits? Like, I don't want to see Law with a second devil fruit. His devil fruit is overpowered enough as it is. Having Luffy eat 2 devil fruits would like completely destroy everything. I mean, in my opinion, it would destroy his character, it destroyed the plot, it wouldn't make any sense. So, giving the property of the Ds to have multiple devil fruit powers, I don't think that would make much sense. Unless like Dragon, that's another D, has like 2 devil fruits, but I still don't think that would make any sense. So, I'm gonna say that whatever is in his blood or lineage doesn't have anything to do with why he has 2 devil fruits. That being said though, my discussion video is gonna talk about why I think Blackbeard might come from some kind of special lineage or some kind of special thing that has nothing to do with the the will of D. But let's get back to that in the other video. So the other theory that I've heard, I heard this from Roger's Base, but I'm pretty sure that he didn't make it up. Actually, I'm pretty sure he said that he didn't make this theory. And I don't think he's made a video on it either, but it's basically a theory that the rings that Blackbeard has, that he puts all his other devil fruit powers into these, and that will allow him not only to have 2 devil fruit powers, but like the amount of rings that he has is like the amount of devil fruit he can obtain, which I have 2 problems with. One, his devil fruit power literally makes it so that if he touches other things with devil fruit things in it, they don't have any power. And then you can argue, yes, it's in the rings, and that would kind of make any sense. But then again, he has so many fucking rings on his fingers. do you really want Blackbeard to be able to have 10 devil fruits? That makes no sense. Also, as far as I can remember right now, devil fruits in objects only work with Zoan types, because how would you, like, if you're only wearing it, like, you're not the one possessing the devil fruit, but if it had, like, the Quake fruit, how the hell would you be like, okay, you should use this fruit now? Like, I imagine that it's pretty hard already when it's, like, in your body, but this is in a fucking object. How do you make it do that if it's not, like, a living thing, like a Zoan devil fruit user, or a Zoan devil fruit? Do you see what I mean here? I don't think this, like, the ring thing is interesting, and I get why you say it, but it doesn't really make any sense. The lineage thing would just destroy the story, so that's why I'm gonna go with the very boring explanation. And I think, if you watch other things than anime, you might know Emergency Awesome. Charlie once said in a video about Game of Thrones that the theories we make up tend to be a lot more exciting than the actual explanation in the story. And that's kind of the road I'm taking now, because this theory is gonna be really fucking boring compared to the two I just told you, but it's gonna be a lot more realistic in my opinion, so let's just get into it. So basically what I think is that the reason that Blackbeard can have 2, and in the future 3 devil fruit powers, which I'm also gonna get into, is that it's not because of him or anything that he did, it's just the properties of the devil fruit itself. And I have 2 kind of reasons that I think this. First of all, we know that Blackbeard was only on Whitebeard's ship because he wanted this particular devil fruit. He didn't just look for any kind of, like, special devil fruit. He looked for this particular devil fruit, and he knew it as soon as he saw it. So, I think he was even on the ship for like 20 or 30 years, like, it was ridiculous how long he was on the ship, which should tell you something about how badly he wanted it. If you're on a ship for more than a decade, just for this thing, it must be hella rare. I mean, a devil fruit is rare as to begin with, but this one must be special. So there's that. The second thing, and I'm gonna read a lot from this volume because everything is in this volume, and I'm gonna tell you something. This theory, in my opinion, is so realistic that for the first 2 years that I read One Piece, I thought this was the actual reason, and I didn't know that it was a theory until I saw people making other theories. I thought this was so legit that there was something Oda had explained, yet it wasn't. So yeah, let me just read one of the things that, let me just read a lot of the things that Blackbeard says in the Blackbeard vs. H chapter, where he actually explains his devil fruit. He says, "Darkness is gravity. Darkness so dense it sucks in everything, even light." Remember that, it sucks in everything. And then he has a technique called black hole, where he pulls the town in and then he spits it out and it's completely destroyed. Now, I'm thinking, if it can suck everything in, even light, as he says, why couldn't he use this to suck in a devil fruit? Because as we know, I'm gonna read from this book one more time. Where is it? Black vortex. The gravity of darkness can pull in the actual body of a devil fruit user. And then he touches Ace and he can't use the devil fruit. The other thing my darkness can absorb is the power of devil fruits. He says it right there. He can absorb the power of devil fruits. Now, what I think is that you have, when you eat it, we all know that if you eat 2 devil fruits, your body explodes because they come in contact with each other or something. So if you eat 1 devil fruit, like he has the darkness fruit, the yami no mi. But if he can use that devil fruit to create a separate void where he can, like, store the other devil fruit, they wouldn't come in contact with each other. And I think there's a spider on the lens right now, so let me just quickly. Okay, now that spider's gone, I hope you didn't see it. So yeah, basically he can create a void for the separate devil fruit. They wouldn't come in contact with each other. He wouldn't explode, and he'd still be able to use both of them. Does that make sense? So I don't have a whole lot of evidence, but I think the evidence that I have for this theory is really fucking good. So I mean, you can judge how you will, but I think that's a pretty good theory. Now on to why I think he'll eventually have 3 devil fruits, because there is a whole lot of theories that he will eventually have these 3 devil fruits, because there are a lot of signs. His, like, I think it's Jolly Roger has 3 hats or whatever, and there are a lot of, like, signs with 3, I'm gonna put some of them here. Signs with 3 is a thing with him, and it makes sense. And a lot of people also think that his third devil fruit would be a Soan type, because then he'd have a Logia, a Paramecia, and a Soan. I don't know how other people pronounce those three, but that's how I pronounce them. Whatever. Back at Impel Down, Crocodile introduced the prospect of awakened devil fruits, and in Dressrosa we got a bit more of an explanation of what an awakened devil fruit was from Doflamingo. And so far, as we've seen, that for Soan type, when you have an awakened Soan user, they recover faster, I think they're also stronger, and just every aspect of them is better. And for Doflamingo, his devil fruit power, a Paramecia, it allowed him to change his surroundings. And it seemed that from that instant, a lot of people have seemed to assume that when you have an awakened devil fruit power that's not a Soan, you somehow have the ability to change the surroundings and or influence them in some way, which in my opinion is relatively stupid. I'm sorry if you thought that, but I don't think that's the case, because a lot of people think that, oh well, Luffy will obviously awaken his devil fruit, which I agree with, but he'll be able to make the ground around him like a bouncy sort of thing, like literally like a trampoline everywhere. And yes, that might happen, but I don't think that every devil fruit user is every devil fruit is the same. And I mean, again, there's evidence that supports that Akainu and Aokichi have awakened devil fruit powers, because they fought on Punk Hazard, and their fight was so intense that even after their fight, the island is still half ice, half fire. So yeah, it makes sense that some devil fruits change the surroundings, but then again, it's probably stupid to assume that that's all they can do. A lot of people have also assumed that Cracker has an awakened devil fruit power because he can literally create infinite biscuits, and that doesn't really have anything to do with surroundings, so yeah. Awakened devil fruit powers equals change the surroundings. I don't think that's real. I think it's stupid to assume that. So what I'm gonna propose is that the reason that Blackbeard can have 3 devil fruit powers in the future is that his awakened devil fruit power would allow him to not only create one void, but 2 separate voids, so that he would be able to store 2 separate devil fruit powers. Because at the moment, I think that should he eat a second devil fruit power, a third devil fruit, without having his awakened thing, 2 of his devil fruit would collide either in his body or in his void. If they collide within him, he dies. If they collide within the void, I think something would explode. And he'd probably use both powers, so that wouldn't really work out for him. So I think that basically he would be able to have himself and then 2 voids. Does that make sense? So that's why he'd be able to have 3 devil fruit powers. I don't remember if I said that a lot of people think that his third would be so. Yeah, I said that. I don't know how that would work in correlation to that, but Oda could probably find a way somehow, because it'd be cool if he could have 1 of each. Also, because having 3 devil fruit powers would be pretty overpowered, and yes, as I said, Blackbeard will definitely be one of the last people Luffy will fight. Whether you think he's the actual last, or just the last pirate, or just like the person he'll fight on rap, like he'll probably fight him for the One Piece or whatever. Which is again why I think that Akainu will be the last, because I think it'll be a pretty fucking huge battle after that. I think Roger is also right in the sense that the Gorosei might be the last, but that depends on whether they are fighters or not, but that's a whole other theory. So yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so having 3 devil fruit powers would be pretty overpowered. So what I think is that he can, the 2 voids that he has, you can't open them both at the same time, so he would have to he would always be able to use the Yami no Mi and 1 of the devil fruits in the void, but he can't use them at the same time. Does that make sense? Because yeah, 3 devil fruit powers at the same time would be pretty OP, and Luffy needs some kind of fighting chance. And yes, we don't know what Luffy will be capable of whenever he goes against Blackbeard, but still, I think there should be some kind of, what the hell is it called? There should be a drawback, that's the word. There should be some kind of drawback to the ability of having 3 devil fruit powers, because he could like, if we just look at someone like Luffy, he has 1 devil fruit power, yet he has somehow managed to have 1,000 different techniques that are so, like, He has everything from stretching his fingers and making a net to literally become a bounceman that can fly. There are so many possibilities within just one devil fruit that having 3 would be ridiculous. And I'm gonna discuss this in my discussion video, that Blackbeard has a lot of fucking knowledge about devil fruits. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that he will be able to explore these devil fruit. Maybe not to their fullest, because he wouldn't have had them as long as someone like Luffy, who's had them from the time he was fucking 7. But he'd still be pretty good, because again, he spent over a decade on Blackbeard's ship obtaining one devil fruit that he seems to know everything about. And he's probably aware of the fact that the more you use a devil fruit, the more you'll be able to learn about it. Because he was on Blackbeard's ship, he must have seen as so many people obtain devil fruit powers and slowly got more accustomed to using them and slowly developed more techniques. You can learn a lot from experience, and I don't think Blackbeard is completely lost in that fact. I don't think Blackbeard will be one of those really dumb villains. He'll be pretty fucking smart. I mean, he'll be overconfident, but I still think he'll be pretty fucking smart, because we know that the smart characters are the ones that Luffy seems to struggle with the most, and if he doesn't struggle against Blackbeard, it's not gonna be much of a final fight. So there's that. So I think overall that's what I have to say about Blackbeard and the topic of multiple devil fruits. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about my discussion, just to make you interested and make you watch it, because I think theory videos are more clickable than discussion videos. Because I'm not gonna call it theories, let's discussion, I'm just gonna call it a discussion. Basically, I'm gonna discuss where Blackbeard has his knowledge from. And the reason I'm not gonna call it a theory video is because I don't have a definite answer, and I just wanna start a discussion, but I'm gonna put out a lot of like small things that I think people might overlook because they don't actually have anything to do with Blackbeard directly, but when you look at them in correlation or like in the context of Blackbeard as we know it, we'll probably open a few doors that some people have overlooked, but some of you might have already noticed this because my viewers seem to be pretty fucking smart. So, I'm gonna end the video here. Leave a thumbs up if you like anything that I had to say. Leave in the comments below what you either thought of this video. If you think I'm right, then yay, good for me. If you think I'm wrong, feel free to leave your suggestions. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm usually wrong with my theories, though this one was a whole lot more realistic than anything I've ever put out there, I think. At least with One Piece. And yeah, you can subscribe if this is somehow the first video you've seen of mine. I mean, I assume it is. People tend to search for the theories videos rather than reviews and stuff. But yeah, if you don't know who I am just another reviewer. I do reviews of One Piece, Haikyuu, Shokugeki no Soma, Boku no Hero Academia. Also now Haikyuu the anime and One Piece the anime, though these two aren't really reviews, it's just me talking about things that I like. So yeah, you can check it out if you're interested. And yeah, until next time, bye!